Hi everyone, this is Priya Vashne and I welcome you all to the new session. In this video, we are going to learn about the perspective of Machiavelli as a thinker. Okay, so in the previous video, we had seen a brief introduction of Machiavelli, and in this video, we will understand that how can you actually categorize Machiavelli with respect to uh, his thoughts regarding the prince, etc. Right? Okay, so you can call Machiavelli as a realist, as a materialist, and as elitist. Okay, as we have even seen our previous video, that Machiavelli is known as the father of political realism, right? He is known as the father of political realism. Until then, please tell me who is known as the father of political philosophy. Please answer in the comment section. Okay, so Machiavelli, we had seen that Machiavelli is known as the father of political realism. So when I say that Machiavelli was a realist, what do I mean by saying it? See, realists are also known as children of darkness. Now, what do I mean by saying it? See, what happens is when we see things, right? Usually it is said that try to see good in others, right? But what Machiavelli believes is that it's okay to see good in others, but what about the bad things which are present in others? So, what Machiavelli basically actually advises the king or the prince to see things as it is. Means he is actually advising the prince not to filter out things based on assumptions and based on such things, right? You should always see good in others, etc. Machiavelli always say that see what it is as it is, right? He he why he is actually known as the father of political realism is that he is actually telling the prince or the king to see politics as it is. Means, see, politics, as there are many other professions, politics is also a profession, right? It is also a profession, right? So, what Machiavelli is saying is that this profession also has its dark side, right? Along with the bright side, it also has its dark side. So Machiavelli suggests the prince to see this profession as it is, rather than how it should be, or rather than putting a filter upon it that okay, I will see only the pros of this profession, etc. So Machiavelli believes in the realism. He believes in the reality. Okay, so that's why even realism also means power view of politics. When we actually, you will actually study about this when we will proceed with the series, right? So we will actually understand what realism is, what idealism is, etc. when we will proceed in our this PSIR course. But before that, what you should actually basically know is that realism actually means the power view of politics. Power view of politics. So in Machiavelli, we will see that how Machiavelli is instructing the prince about the politics as a profession. What he is telling about the prince, that how he should be, what he should avoid, what he should do, etc. Right? So that's why he is actually known as the realist. Why? Because he is telling the prince to see the reality as it is. Don't put any filters upon it. Okay, so do you understand it, that why Machiavelli is known as realist? See, you will understand it in very detail when we will understand the thoughts of Machiavelli. Okay, we are just for now what we are doing is we are just trying to get into the mind of Machiavelli, right? We are just trying to understand his perspective, because whenever you study a thinker, as I have already told you as well, that every thinker is a child of his times, as well as because of the situations that he has faced in his lifetime, he or she has a perspective, right? And with that perspective only, he is looking out at the things, and then whatever theory he or she is giving is the result of that perspective only, right? So it's very important for every thinker that you should understand that what is the perspective of the thinker, how this thinker looks at the things, right? For example, many of you may take things very positively, and many of you may also willing to see the negative sides of the things, etc., right? So what happens is it all depends of the perspective. Even it is being said that attitude matters a lot, etc., right? So what it is because even it is said that you are the product of your thoughts, right? So similarly, when you study a thinker, it is very important to understand that how thinker is looking at the things, right? Okay, so first thing we had studied that Machiavelli is a realist. Second thing is Machiavelli is also regarded as materialist. So as materialist is being taken or created from the word material, therefore he believed that matter is real. Right? He actually believed in the reality of matter. He does not disregard this materialistic world in the name of some world of illusion, just like Plato, right? So he believed that matter is real, and he also believes that a man is materialist by nature. Man is materialist by nature, right? So we will see that how Machiavelli is utilizing this when we will understand his various instructions which he had given in his book The Prince. Okay, so why I'm saying that Machiavelli is materialist, because he believed that matter is real, and he also believes that man is materialist by nature. For now, it is enough for you to understand. We will study it in detail, right, in our next videos. Okay, next, Machiavelli is also regarded as an elitist. His perspective is also regarded as elitist. Now what do I mean when I say that Machiavelli is elitist? See, he actually makes a difference between the prince and the common man. Now, when I'm saying that he makes a difference between the prince and the common man, that does not mean any. That does not mean that Machiavelli believed in any concept of natural inequality, etc. But he actually says is that when a person becomes a prince, right, he or she has to do things differently, because there is a difference why he or she is prince, and in order to remain in power, he or she has to do some things, some specific things which he actually he has given in his book The Prince, right? He has given the instructions to the prince that this you should do and this you should not do, etc. We will study it, right? So for now, it is very important to you for you to understand that he actually makes a difference between a prince and a common man. He says that both people are different, both have different psychologies, etc., right? So basically, whenever someone asks you that what was the perspective of Machiavelli as a thinker, then you can say Machiavelli was realist, Machiavelli was materialist, and Machiavelli can also be regarded as elitist. Why realist? Because uh, as realism means power view of politics, and Machiavelli has given the power view of politics, and that's why he's also regarded as the father of political realism, because he asks us to even see the darker side of the profession. He asks us to not put filters upon anything and to see things as it is, as they are, right? Next, materialist. Why? Because he believed that matter is real, and he also believes that man is materialist by nature, right? Third thing Machiavelli says that Machiavelli is elitist. Why? Because he makes a difference between prince and the common man. How he makes that difference, we will see in our next videos. Okay, so next, let us also learn something about his methodology. See, we have seen that I think even all, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle all have followed the methodology of dialectics, right? Where they were actually getting into the process of argumentation, and that process of logical argument would follow until and unless a final or logical and or conclusion is being achieved. So when I say Machiavelli's method, when we actually talk about Machiavelli's methodology, then his methodology is basically based upon two things. Number one is the human psychology. Number two is the history, right? So what Machiavelli believes is that the prince should have knowledge of two things. Number one, of human psychology. See, ultimately, a prince rules home. Ultimately, the prince rules over the people, right? So, in order to remain in power or in order to come to the power, it is very important for the prince to understand the psychology of people, to understand the human psychology. Because if you won't even understand how people think, how people respond to certain things, then there are high possibilities that you will do something which can result against your aim or against you, right? So what Machiavelli says is it is very, very important for the prince to understand or to have the knowledge of human psychology, right? Second thing, he says history, knowledge of history. Now, that why do you think that Machiavelli is talking about the prince to have the knowledge of history? See, what history tells us see, through history, even we can understand how people react to certain situations. Basically, according to Machiavelli, history can be the best thing to understand the human psychology. Because what happens is, when an event happens in a history, then that event actually tells us that this was the action and this was the reaction, right? For example, we have also studied in our history part that we actually studies about various rulers, right? And every ruler has like some actually like some rulers, and some people actually don't like some rulers. So why is it so, right? Some people has even revolted against some rulers to overthrow them, right, from the throne. So why does it happen? All these things you can understand from history. What happens is, every time some actions being performed by the prince or by the ruler, which are which were actually not in sync with the human psychology, or according to human psychology, that were not acceptable by the public, that's why the public revolted against him or her. So such kinds of events you can study from the history and gain knowledge of the human psychology, which ultimately is going to help you to remain in power and to come to the power, right? So what is the Machiavelli's methodology? Machiavelli says that it is very important for the prince to have the human psychology and to have the knowledge of history. Why knowledge of history? So that the mistakes which had been done in the past, prince should be able to avoid those mistakes. Along with it, it would also help him in the understanding of the human psychology. Okay, so this is all in this video. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye. And please share and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot if you like.